We just checked out Battlefield Hardline, and it looks so different from previous Battlefield games, and that is in part because Visceral is in control now. So we're here with Sasser, whose name I did not mess up, and you worked on the game in the multiplayer aspect.
That's right. I'm the lead multiplayer designer for Battlefield Hardline.
So you are the man to talk to.
Sure.
We see the change immediately from military over to police officers and criminals from previous Battlefields. What else has Visceral changed in the mix?
Well, it's still a Battlefield title, so we've still got a lot of the classic Battlefield mechanics. We've got a wide range of weapons, a wide range of vehicles. We've got that classic rock, paper, scissors relationship between the weapons, gadgets, vehicles, and players and so on. So we've got a lot of these traditional Battlefield mechanics, but we are changing it up. Specifically, we've added a bunch of new game modes, we've added a bunch of new vehicles, we've added very cool fictional cops and criminal style weapons like the sawed-off shotgun or the Uzi or the Tech 9. So we've got a lot of cool toys and a lot of cool things for players to explore and experiment with.
Very cool. I wish I had been a criminal so I could have tried one of those shot-off shotgun.
Well, let me be clear. It's completely symmetric between the two sides. We want to make sure that we're creating a competitive, balanced experience. That's very hard to do with an asymmetric flow. So what we've created here is you have access to the same things on both sides, but we do have some factional variants in there. For example, the criminals might throw a Molotov cocktail, but the cops would throw an incendiary grenade. So they look different, but they have the same gameplay to keep it balanced.
All right. Well, maybe I just find crime appealing. Don't judge me. So I was looking at the reputation system. This seems like something very interesting. It's the system reminds me something of something I might see in a MOBA.
Oh, good call. Yeah, so the idea here is to create some session-based persistence. You might remember the field upgrade system from Battlefield 4. This is our spin on that same kind of system. But instead of just choosing a track and progressing passively along this predetermined track, during the actual gameplay, you'll be selecting between two different upgrades. So you'll choose, like, do I want more bullet damage resistance, or do I want explosive damage resistance, or do I want to run faster, or do I want to reload faster? And we've tried to create really interesting and compelling choices between these pairings.
Interesting. So it sounds almost like a skill tree, but I know it's temporary, at least for the session.
That's right. So you'll play one match, you'll reach a certain level. There's a max level, of course, you can reach. You'll have a certain number of combinations you can pick, but then you get to try it again next round. And we think that's one of the really interesting things about this is you can tailor it to that specific playstyle for that map and mode.
Or maybe if I'm a very aggressive or defensive character.
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the single player.
Well, as you know, Visceral has a strong tradition of storytelling in single player. You know, look at the classic Dead Space games, right? Some of my favorite horror games ever made, and I didn't help work on them, so that's an honest opinion from a fellow game developer. And we're bringing that same kind of strength to the single player of Battlefield Hardline. So look forward to an engaging and compelling single player storytelling experience.
Does that come from the perspective of the police officers or the criminals, or can I?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Oh, things
Maybe
aren't...
that would tie into the name of the game, the hard line there.
Maybe things aren't always black and white. Or maybe they're always black or always white. What do you hope people take away from the Hardline presentations here at E3?
Well, the biggest thing, of course, is getting the beta in the hands of the players and the fans. And what we're really looking forward to is seeing the sentiment that comes out of players and finding out what they like, what they don't like, but more importantly, why. Because one of the great things about doing a beta this early is we actually have time to react and adapt the game based on player feedback. And that, for me personally, is one of the most exciting things right now.
Interesting. So how can beta players get their voices heard?
Well, of course, there's the community forums. They're a good starting point.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to check out Battlefield Hardline and figure out what that title means in the next few days and weeks and months. Thanks so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.